Right, let's get into talking about the last two games. So we're currently recording this on Monday, 19th of February. So 2 days after the Altrincham game, 6 days to recover from the 5-0 battering at home to Fylde. So we're going to have to open those wounds again. Just to kind of run you through the moments of that game. I suppose the first moment, Josh Barrett injured. On comes Josh Stokes, who didn't start the game. Ustabasi scored in the 28th. Josh Kay, 33rd. And then the ensuing Cian Harris red card for abusive language. 4 minutes later, Horton makes it 3-0. So we go in 3-0 down to 10 men. Josh Kay comes out second half. 52 minutes scores, make it 4, and the game kind of fades until the 88th minute when they get their fifth. The kind of main talking point, as we'll go on to talk about, is the referee's performance and probably Aldershot's first 30 minutes performance, which was absolutely, it was pretty abysmal. So we've got the panel of Callum and Julian. Callum returning after first time in 2024, I think. So I'm going to come to you first. What were your thoughts on the 5-0 home defeat to Fylde?
First of all, I thought I'd show myself after that abysmal quiz. Didn't think I was allowed to show my face for a long time. So we're back. Yeah, Fylde. Oh, where do we start? I'm going to start with a tour of duty, actually, from years ago. If anyone was there, they know exactly what I mean. The 7-1 defeat, and every ball that was kicked past Jake Cole went in. And since then, Fylde has just been a fixture I just don't want to play. I was quite happy when they got relegated. I sort of kept an eye on them when they came up. So I'm almost not surprised. We had that gap of, was it 10 days, I think it was. And I just feel every team that has a gap like that comes back. Everyone says, oh, they're fresh, they're ready to go. And boom, hit with a big defeat. We played so many games this season. It's almost better they come quickly. So I think we performed better as a team. I know Tommy changed it around and put O'Keefe and Theo sort of in that central defensive mid. Every time I see that, yeah, I don't like it. I think a lot of people don't like it. Takes away being able to release someone forward. Yeah, I'm sort of. I was surprised, obviously 5-0. The red card has something to do with that. Um, I really wasn't that confident for the game, and Fylde's form is just, I think they're the best formed team at the moment in the whole league. So I wasn't surprised. Uh, I like to have dusted it under the carpet, but you've brought it back up.
Yeah, you mentioned the 10 days off. We had a similar thing with Rochdale. We played them a few weeks ago. I think they were 10 days off, and you could tell in that first half an hour who had played more recently. I think that's the main thing that comes out of that first disastrous half an hour or 33 minutes before Harry's is red carded. Julian, how did you see that kind of the home defeat and the first 30 minutes?
Yeah, I was going to say the same thing about Rochdale, actually. It was a real case of deja vu with that. It just felt that, especially as Fylde, I think they'd beaten Eastleigh at the weekend when we weren't playing. So they were just on a roll. And I remember Joe and Ian talking about it in the previous podcast, saying they were a little bit wary of the Fylde game. And there was me going, no, don't worry, we'll pick up 7 points, no problem. But they were spot on, weren't they? And it was just uphill from the very first minute, it felt like, and it looked like we were sort of walking in concrete. It was just such a really odd experience. And once, obviously, they'd gone 2-0 down and the sending off, which I thought was ridiculous, to be honest. But we can talk about that in a minute. But no, it just felt to me as if it was always going to be one-way traffic. And, once we were 2-0 down to 10, it was never going to be anything other than a I was going to say damage limitation, but we weren't even able to limit the damage, were we? Ended up as 5 in the end. So one of those days at the office. Really good comments from Chris Beach, actually. I thought he was very complimentary on some of the things that he said. But yeah, 3 games in a week. I think Tommy's was looking at the rotation of the players, which meant there was going to be a different lineup. So one of those ones which just a bad day at the office, and obviously we'll get on to the Altrincham game in a minute, but as Callum said earlier on, the games are much better coming thick and fast, I think, and yeah, at least it gives us a chance to make some good calls and to actually get it out of our system.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, so yeah, I mentioned there you mentioned there the Fylde manager was full of praise for the shot support, which in the second I can't remember an old shot team having, being 5-4-0 down for most of the game in the second half, and still people are pretty happy with this season. Got credit in the bank, like but just bring on the next game, so that was pretty wild. And Callum, you mentioned Fylde's run. They've won 6 out of the last 7 in the league, and then lost to Barnet at the weekend, who are obviously our next opponents as we record. So we've waited long enough. Let's talk about the ref. Gary Parsons. The only reason I know his name is because he was chanted from the East Bank. I can't remember that ever happening either, and was escorted off at half-time or full-time. So I guess we start with his performance before the foul, and then was it a foul, and was it a sending off? I'm going to come to you, Cal, for those quick fire 3 questions.
Mate, that's a very good question. I know it's an impossible job being a referee, but before we come on this pod tonight, I haven't seen it since my initial reaction in the East Bank, which I was shouting for a free kick. I've watched it back from the South Stand angle about 7 times. From there, I don't think it's a free kick because I think he's gone down way too easily. But when I've looked at it on the latter 3 watches, I'm not sure the Fylde player, I don't know his name, I'm not sure he was even looking at the ball. So there's a lot of things in that moment that are so different. I think from different angles, I think everyone had an opinion. I think from the East Bank, it was very much a free kick. South Stand, not sure. So I've got no idea what the North Stand was. So I don't know where Julian sits. It'd be great to find out where he was on that.
Yeah, I thought it was. I did think it was a free kick, and I was along the north west central part. But I probably have obviously got my Aldershot goggles on. So I guess if I'd been a Fylde supporter, then it was a free kick all day long. But for me, it wasn't. And I think the reaction from Keane Harries says a lot as well, because he's so laid back, isn't he? And for him to react in that way, I think that again tells you that he definitely thought it was a free kick for sure.
Yeah. So the kind of the reason Harris was sent off was after the goal went in, which basically happens all in the space of 10 seconds. Harris gets pushed or bumped into the back, or the player uses his body, picks up the ball, slides into Kay, who then finishes it. The ref sprints away at a speed I've never seen before. Harris pursues him. The ref stops. Harry stops, bumps into him, and clearly, he's looming over him because the referee was quite small. Harry's is big. Clearly says something and gets a straight red card. All the while this is happening, the Fyldeans are goad in the East Bank. So it was a sensory overload for that 15 seconds. So that's the context of the red card, and the game. Yeah, as we said before, kind of faded after that. I don't know if we've got any other comments on the ref's general performance, because I don't think it was just that decision, whether it was or not. I think there was a few before that and quite a few before half time that were contentious. What do you think, Cal?
I mean, it wasn't consistent. And I think we find this at this level throughout the whole season that every single ref is quite different in how they approach the game. I thought there were things let go and then given quite a lot. There's quite a lot of difference, and when there's no consistency week to week, I mean, we've got a mixture of players as well. Football league players, we've got players that have played lower, so much mixture in this league. Some days it's hard. I think one of those was um, so many different heads, so many different views of opinion, and it was just constant clash. Uh, I wasn't surprised. I thought there might be more sending offs, to be honest. Yeah, after that, so to only be one. But when you said the ref was literally running away, yeah, I said that at the same time. I've never seen a ref sprint from a goal to try to get to the halfway line as quick as possible. So I think that really probably sums it up, thinking that he knows he probably hasn't quite got it right. I'm not sure. I'm really not sure now.
Yeah, I mean it is hard because when a decision like that then immediately follows a goal, that I mean it must be the worst feeling as being the one that makes that decision. So I mean, yeah, what can you do? And Julian, what do you think generally about the kind of ref's performance?
Yeah, it's tough being a ref, isn't it? You're never gonna, I'm just thinking off the top of my head, probably two or three really good refs have been with us this season. But you cannot put that performance in that category. I think the problem we've got at this level is that you've got up and coming refs who are still learning their trade, and you've also got refs that are sort of stuck there. They're not good enough to ref in the football league, so they've sort of reached the top and then they just stay there. I'm not sure how long Mr. Parsons has been refereeing for, but I'm just wondering whether he's one of those that he's never going to go any higher, and so he's just sort of found his level and he's taken it out on us.
This ref actually on Tuesday night ended up being the fourth official championship match. Was it you? I
I
think
didn't notice that.
it might have been friend of the pod, Dan, who mentioned that, and I was thinking, how can you go from National League to fourth official and be seeing the same game we are? Um, I don't get it. Maybe he's
Yeah,
got booted there to get some experience because I'm sure there was definitely a file, a report somewhere to the FA.
definitely. I think had it been the free game ban for Kean Harris for I don't know what that's actually called, but pushing the ref or whatever, then I think there would have been an appeal for that red card. But in the way it's abusive language, it's probably said the C word and that's it. Dan did also mention that this is the same ref that was the ref for the Woking Aldershot game, the Mikel and Jolie 3-2 last minute game, where there was a few contentious decisions. I think was that the game with two penalties, I believe. So yeah, some strange decisions there as well.
Well out of his depth there, clearly. Oh, I
Yeah.
said it now. Oh yeah, what's his name? Gary, if he's listening.
I'm not sure. I'm not going to at him on X or anything. I think he can.
Maybe we could get him on.
We could get him on that. Yeah, I don't know if um does that do something? I don't know. It seems biased to kind of get a ref on and then be like, so what about that decision? And then the next time he refs us, he's going to be thinking, or we ruin it again and come across really badly, and then he gives a decision based on that. Yeah, food for thought. So that's the 5-0 AFC Fylde ref debacle. Let us know what you think about the ref. I know it's been all over Facebook and Twitter about the different decisions. I mean, I couldn't really keep track of the decisions. There was plenty of little bad ones in there that I didn't note down or anything, such as losing at 5-0 at home and knowing you've got to get back to London. So then we moved on to the TNT Sports live 5:30 kickoff. Aldershot against Altrincham, 1-2-0 with two goals at the very end of the first half. First, Tyler Frost with a touch and a left foot strike I've never seen at the High Street end. Absolute thunder. Might have to bleep it out, but thunder bastard is the only way I can describe it. He's absolutely smashed it, and it was great because it was raining. The rain like flew off the net, so that was quite good to see, even from the East Bank. And then 4 minutes later, so 4 minutes into added time, Tolaj pounced on Barham's kind of cross come shot to make it 2-0, go in happy at half time. So, Cal, what did you think about that performance in reaction to the Fylde game on Tuesday night?
I think we all expected there to be a reaction, and there was. I thought Altrincham were a really good team, to be honest. I thought they seemed to be able to pass it really quick and well, but they were struggling, I think, in that final third. And when we just got that goal, when we did, they tried to push forward as much as they could quite quickly to get a reply. And that just, that's what we wanted really, because it just set us free. I thought we might have lost the chance when Barham sort of cut inside, and then because he didn't know, I'm not sure he knew Frost was coming, but didn't know which side. And I thought angle might be all wrong, and I think in the end he's just had a go just because there's no other options. Keeper hasn't grabbed it, and Josh just poached it. Exactly what you want your strikers to follow up on everything, all the lost causes, and that just summed it up for me.
Yeah, that's ideal for a striker, especially when you one striker's making a 50-yard run, your right wing back's making a dashing run down the wing as well, and then Tolaj finishes it off. Come to you as well, Julian. What were your thoughts on the 2-0 win?
Yeah, it's really fun, isn't it? Because I think a few weeks back I said something like, which order shot is going to turn up, and based on the Fylde performance, we just didn't know which one was going to turn up. But such a great performance, comfortable on the ball. The back three obviously was changed because of the Fylde result, and it really looks really mobile. I thought the back three looked really calm on the ball. I thought Hadji in the centre was a master stroke. I know he's obviously a back three player or a wing back, but I thought him taking over from Harry's, that he just looked so comfortable in the middle. I was actually at the match with my cousin, who's a Portsmouth supporter, and he was well impressed with Hadji, although I don't think he'll be going back there somehow with them heading off to the Championship. But he also was saying a couple of things which were so true. He said that Tetek stood out a mile, could see the quality of Tetek on the night, and also the fact that rain was coming down all the time. It was just set up beautifully to shoot on sight. And of course, that second goal was exactly that. The goalie spilled the ball, and Tolaj was there to finish it off. But no, I felt really comfortable, and. Like Callum said, I was impressed with Altrincham as well. Chris Clark in the middle there was just finding pockets of space which I didn't even know existed. He just sat in that space, and every time the ball pinged through to him, he just charged off, and can see why he scored so many goals this season. But again, I agree with what was said earlier, in that. That they weren't at their best up front, and I think they could probably do with a Tolaj and a Stokes probably just to get them over that final step. But I was a bit frustrated looking at their goal difference. They got plus 17 goal difference, and obviously we're still on our amazing -4. But I couldn't quite work out how their goal difference is so good when they didn't look that effective up front. So. Obviously, I don't see him week in, week out, but it's a really good game. As that phrase this year, bounce back ability, has come in a couple of times, and I think that's all we could ask for was that performance. It was amazing, and I've got my rose tinted glasses on and think we're going to have a great game tomorrow against Barnet as well. But we'll wait and see which one turns up.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, I guess the Chris Clark was, a standout for me, to be honest, watching him. And yeah, amount of times I just shouted, number 10, he's free again. because he was finding those gaps. He did remind me a lot of. I know it might be just because he's wearing number 10 and in that same position, but very much like Josh Stokes at the start of the season, the way he was using his body to get the ball and turn and get on the other side of our midfield was quite nice to see, especially when we were winning, because then I was able to just broadly enjoy it. But without that, so yeah, I guess you've mentioned a couple of players there. In terms of standout performers, Tyler Frost got the official or the sponsors man of the match for his goal and general. I mean, he was brilliant on the right hand side all game. Callum, who would you have down as your man of the match for the Altrincham game?
I thought on the day Frost was superb. I really think Minoga, from actually not really playing in that team for a while, he's been playing in sort of the wing back position when he's played with us since Jones got injured. I just thought he just commanded it superbly. He's definitely above this level. Just be nice if we could nick the playoffs as maybe the first ever team to go up with a minus goal difference and then keep him on in League Two. Because I think that's probably at the moment, where a lot of these players could play. He was superb for me.
That's the positive thing about this season, though, isn't it? We've got Minoga, we've got Stokes, we've got Tolaj, and we look at them and we're pretty confident they could fit in at the level above. And that's exactly how I felt 16, 17. I was looking at these players like, they're probably going to leave us if we don't get promoted this season. And I mean, lo and behold, that's kind of what happened. And Julian, do you have any other standouts? I know you mentioned Tetek before. I will mention him if you don't.
Yeah, I've said my piece on Tetek. He just impresses me every single game he plays. Not quite sure what's happening with his contract because it sounds as if the word is that he's signed until the end of the season, which means that that's good news first of all. But I just cannot see how we can keep hold of him the way he's playing. He just looks so comfortable on the ball, makes everything look easy. Even made Witherington look good as well. So and they played well together. There's no doubt about it. Give him credit when credit's due. So yeah, Tetek just seems to have so much time on the ball. He's one step ahead of everyone else and just finding those gaps. Links up really well with Stokes, who again is really sort of quick in thought. So yeah, loved his performance. Tyler Frost was excellent again, and was one of the players I thought was going to really stand out for us this season. And yeah, he has been excellent, Tyler Frost, and obviously can play in a number of places. So thought he fully deserved that award. I thought Menezes at the back probably had his best game. Again, mentioned that mobility in the back three. I just felt that he looked really comfortable, and if we can keep that going, I think Kobe's got an injury at the moment. So if we can keep that going, then is there a place back in the team for Kean Harries? I don't know whether he'll get back in, but on that performance, then I guess I would keep it as it is.
Yeah, it'll be interesting to see what Tommy does. Obviously, he changed it quite a lot for the Fylde game, but I think a few of those were forced changes. Obviously, weren't sure where Tetek was. We weren't sure where Frost was. I think Frost was ill, so that meant that we had O'Keefe and Witherington in the midfield. And I mean, the drop off is quite stark when we've got Tetek and Witherington to O'Keefe and Witherington. There, as Callum mentioned earlier, the lack of mobility in the middle is quite a big difference. So yeah, we're going to need. I mean, it's hard to nail down an 11 for tomorrow night, to be honest. So yeah, so everyone mentioned kind of Tetek, Hadji, Harfield again. Obviously, has another 8 out of 10 performance as he does every week. He's another that could probably easily fit in at League Two level. And I think Josh Stokes probably had his best game since his move. To be honest, I think he's found it hard being kind of the man that's been targeted a lot, but he had a bit more space this time and showed his class. I mean, I'm sure he'll be in goal involvements very soon. Okay, well, those are the two kind of main results that we've wanted to talk about. I guess any other business was what did everyone get up to on your weekend off without Aldershot? I know Joe, panel member from the last normal pod, had his stag do, so we'll catch up with him when he's back on the pod. Maybe in this episode, but I don't know if he's free. Callum, what did you get up to?
I cannot remember, Will. All I know is I felt so lost. I don't know what to do. Like, I think the week revolves around Saturday at 3 o'clock. Doesn't know where I am,
Did
what
you
I'm
not get a
doing.
Soccer Saturday on at all?
Can't remember what I did.
Right, okay,
I
we'll get
think
you a
I was
diary
there
for
this
next time.
morning, the FA Trophy, that we weren't there.
I mean,
I
yeah,
think that's
that's
what I was
fine.
doing. I was keeping, I think I was keeping, was it FA Trophy week? I think I was keeping an eye on Gates to try and see when that's going to be arranged. Would like to go to Gates.
That'd be nice. So you spent the most of the weekend just dreaming about going to Gateshead. I mean, listen, horses for courses. And Julian, what did you get up to?
Oh, I can't say it was anything exciting, Will, to be honest. It was normal sort of dad taxi duties. Oh, you're free at the weekend, Dad. Can you take me here? Can you do this for me? Can you do that for me? So yeah, it was nothing more than driving around South Wales, picking things up and dropping things off. That's all it was, Will.
Not many free weekends in the season, so um, yeah, I was in Norwich for the weekend for a 30th birthday, which was very nice. Played football. The standard was horrendous, so it brings kind of a bit more context to watching Aldershot when you see five lads that haven't played football very regularly for 4 years trying to play heads and vols on 3G, surrounded by kids playing football as well. So you have to really temper your swearing when you when you sky one over the bar. So that was fun. That was a good weekend. And then finally, I guess score predictions for the Shots game tomorrow night, which will be which the feedback, and we'll be talking about it in about 2 minutes' time. But before that, we'll get your score predictions, Cal, and your score predictions, Julian.
I think tomorrow is going to be even tougher than Altrincham game. So I feel like we got the bit of momentum, and it's Barnet though. We always seem to just miss out against Barnet. So is this the tide? If we get 3 points, we really open that playoffs up. So I think it's going to be 2-2 draw. But if we can nick it, that'd be great.
And what about you, Julian?
Do you know what, Will? I really haven't got a clue on this one. Really haven't got a clue. I just don't know which Aldershot is going to turn up, but I also don't know which Barnet is going to turn up either. Yeah, they whacked in 4 at the weekend against Fylde, but they've had some horrendous results recently too. So I don't know. It depends. I guess it depends a little bit on the lineup as well. I think all the time Tommy had this sort of 3 games in a week philosophy, and it wouldn't have surprised me if he had worked out each team, before the 3 games started, with a bit of rotation in there. So, does O'Keefe come back in the centre? I don't think Rowe's going to make it by the sounds of it with his injury. So let's say I think if we win, and it's a really good time to win, because if you look at all the results or the fixtures tomorrow night, all the other teams are playing away. And, if there's ever a time for us to really sort of make our mark, then it's tomorrow night. So let's go positive. Let's go 3-1.
Love that. Love a 3-1. I did actually put a bet on Aldershot Fylde to be 3-1 and Glover to score. So don't know what that says about what tomorrow's night's going to be. I'm going to go 2-1. I think we'll win. I don't think I've ever predicted us to lose, so I mean, don't know what that really adds. Barnet did have some good news today. Apparently, they are planning to move back to Barnet after how many years? 6 years in where is it again? I never remember.
The Hive. Oh, it's a
Is it
horrible
Harrow?
ground. I believe it was actually, I don't know exactly, but I believe Willstone were
Yeah, it's
going to
meant to
have
be
the
Wildstone's
ground,
ground.
and
Yeah,
then Willstone couldn't afford it or something. Something happened like that,
yeah.
and then Barnet got it. It's a horrible place to go. It's about as Yeah,
So
as boring as the
soulless.
journey there.
So, yeah, it's very soulless. Yeah, and the journey out there is rubbish. But yeah, they're looking to move to South Underhill, so back in Barnet. So that's good news for them.
Is that where they played before, Will? Are they going back to the old ground?
I think it's nearby. It says South Underhill. I think Underhill was
It
just
used to
in
be called
Underhill.
Underhill.
So yeah, it says Chipping Barnet is where Underhill Stadium was. But
I remember going there before many years ago, and there was a lot of green land behind the stadium. So whether or not they're going to build there, I don't know.
yeah, because they'd initially, I think, had a lease of 2 years with the council for the Hive, and they were going to move out. I think they were planning on moving out, but then extended it for 4 more. So yeah, I guess they've just been playing the waiting game to finally start moving back. I think it's like a 6 to 8 thousand capacity stadium, so just right. I mean, hopefully they learn from the mistakes of the Hive and don't charge 24 quid to get into the main stand. With any luck.
Hopefully they don't wait as long as we do for news on ground development either.
Oh yeah, we'll probably need an episode on that at some point. We'll get a question and answer with the architects or the structural engineering team.
Definitely.
Yeah, grand. Right, and after this, you'll hear our thoughts on Barnet.
So I thought we played very steadily today, and we were very patient. I thought the first half wasn't a memorable half of football. Barnet, I thought, defended very solidly, and I thought we defended very solidly. It's generally not much to talk about from that half, but us defending solidly is, I suppose, a talking point, because a goalless half at the Rec this season has been quite rare, so that was interesting to see. I thought the second half we came out with a lot more purpose. I think we sort of clocked on to the fact that Barnet was sitting back, and Tommy sort of, I think, pushed the team on a bit more. He timed the substitutions really well. I thought Barham coming on for Daly was the right decision. I don't think Daly played badly, but it was his first sort of proper start, and he ran well, and I think probably his legs had gone by about 60 minutes, and then Barham coming on just injected that energy that we needed, and then when Kwame came on as well, he caused a real nuisance. And I think we've seen it a few times this season that when he's come on and we've had Barham on at the same time, we've got those sort of four strikers all making runs into the box. It is those balls into the box have caused problems, and that's where some of the winners we've had have come from. Obviously the equaliser away at Wealdstone, ball into the box for the Halifax goal, and then today a sort of drilled cross come shot from Frost. I think it was a shot really, but Kwame, I think if you look at the replay back, it looked like he was trying to sort of almost get out the way, but perhaps if you asked him, he might say he sort of arced his back and put it in. Either way, his presence in the box there has helped the ball go in, and he doesn't get enough credit at all, I think, for the goals he's contributed. And recently, obviously with that one today away at Halifax, away at Wealdstone, he's coming on and winning us a lot of points, and is I imagine he'd want to be starting, but he's sort of serving that super sub role, he's filling that really well, and he deserves every credit for coming on and giving his all when he does. I thought Mene Esse had a fantastic game today. He was really, really solid. Minoga was solid. I'm just pointing out Mene Esse really just because the first game he played just was away at Wealdstone. He looked a little bit off the pace, but he's really sort of showing us his quality now. He won everything in the air. There's quite, I can't remember the Barnet player's name, but one of their strikers was quite physical, and Mene Esse seemed to get the better of that physical battle. And when there was some late free kicks with Barnet towards the end, we coped with those well. I think recently another shout out worth giving is to Geordie. He seems to be a bit more confident with crosses from deep and claiming. And there's a couple of times in the first half as well today where he came off his line well, which he's been criticised for a little bit as well. So I think he deserves every credit for perhaps improving his game.
That performance was superb. Everyone was at least an 8 out of 10. We didn't play the two centre defensive mids. It just gave us a bit more space. We contained Barnet, and that 3 points feels absolutely huge. It literally does feel like tonight there's no stopping us to getting in these playoffs, and I really fancy it now. We've beaten all the teams around us, so we have to go all the way to Wembley. It's calling us. It's finally calling us. I'm sure it is. Little break to Saturday, and let's hope we get a result away at Southend, because then we really are, I think, steamrolling in one direction. Hopefully Barham's injury is not too bad, but Thomas coming on, Daly was electric. He just ran everything. So tonight's performance, fantastic.
If you look at tonight's results, it's quite interesting actually. This playoff picture, as we've discussed on the previous podcast, the positions within the playoff race have changed around a lot and continue to change around a lot. Altrincham have dropped out of that top 7 now, and they've been sort of in that top 7 for most of the season really. So they'll be looking to bounce back from a couple of defeats in the last couple of games. Be interesting to see how they react to that. Gateshead got a win away at Kidderminster, which with Kidderminster's recent results is a really good result for Gateshead, and they recently don't look to be sort of dropping off at all. So I'm quite worried about them really. So I suppose from the Shots perspective, we want to hope that Altrincham don't bounce back and that Halifax don't mount a charge, because at the moment we're in 5th, and if we've got points on the board, and if we can just continue to keep that home form up and pick up some points away, hopefully we're good for the playoffs.
A fantastic evening, Will, with a superb result, and who would have thought that 2 clean sheets and 2 wins from those 2 home games after our result against Fylde. Although I wasn't there tonight, I was eagerly listening on the radio, and really came across as pretty comfortable, if I'm honest, and always felt as if we were going to score, although obviously they left it a little bit late. But absolutely delighted with the result. Was a little surprised that Daly started ahead of Barham, but the amount of effort Jack Barham puts in, it's totally understandable to give him a bit of a break. And obviously him coming on after about 60 minutes or so was obviously a plan to really use his pace against a tiring Barnet defence. So although obviously the injury happened towards the end of the game, which by all accounts doesn't look too promising, again it was a really good call from Tommy Widrington. When I saw the lineup, I was really confident with that lineup too, that we would do something. It really came across in the commentary that Barnet were playing quite one-dimensionally, hitting the guy at the top, whereas our game is just so fluid at the moment, really mobile, really pleasing on the eye, and obviously for those that were there, an absolute joy to watch.
Southend away on Saturday, I think it's one of those games where we may slip up. I'm not saying I think we will, but I'm saying it's one of those games, a bit like the Fylde game, where we need to be apprehensive. I don't think Southend are as good a side as Fylde. If you look at their recent results, they've drawn away at Oxford City at the weekend. They're not really scoring many at all. Struggling for goals. So with our defence looking a bit more solid, if we can get an early goal against Southend, I think we can really hope for a positive result there. But if we give them time to get into the game, if they nab a goal, they may, get a bit of newfound confidence. But at the moment, I'm slightly apprehensive just because it's the shots, and this is exactly the sort of game historically where we go and we're looking really positive, and then we'll pick up a result that goes against our good performances. That's just me being pessimistic, but if you're looking at form and you're looking at quality of the sides, I think we can go there and get a result, but we just need to be very careful about our mindset going into that game. And I suppose the one worry for us, or concern, is the extent of Barham's injury. He is a crucial part of our front line, and I just really, really hope that it was just a light knock and that he won't be out for long, because I think as we saw in the Barnet game, he really can make an impact and change games. So I just hope for the sake of our playoff push and for Barham's season really, that he can recover from whatever has gone wrong with him this evening, whatever knock he's picked up, and be back scoring goals as soon as possible.
Yeah, with regard to the playoff picture, it was a really good night with Barnet, Solihull Moors, Altrincham and Oldham all dropping points. But having said that, the next few games are going to be quite tough, and for us to still be in the playoff picture in 2 weeks' time, I think we'll need some results to be going our way for sure, and obviously for us to keep picking up points along the way. But those two results have done us no harm at all, and we're definitely in the playoff mix, which is going to make sure that the next few weeks are really exciting. With regard to the game on Saturday, I'm pretty confident that we can get a result. Southend, they don't draw at home. They either win or lose, but they have lost 6 times at home already this season. So, we can go there really confident on the back of our current displays, really confident that we can go there and pick up a result without any shadow of a doubt. Score prediction from me, I think this one will be a draw, actually. I'm going for a 2-2 draw on this one, Will.
Well. What a difference a week makes. There comes a train. 5-0 last week against Fylde. I was getting this same train back home. I didn't get back till half midnight. Lost 5-0. Rubbish. Now, however, 6 points in 4 days. Up to 5th. Game on. See it, say it, sorted. What to say about that performance? I am buzzing.
Our trains are patrolled by uniformed and plainclothes revenue protection teams. If you do not hold a valid ticket for this train, you may be issued with a minimum penalty fare of £100 or face prosecution.
Nice little addition there. Our defence is patrolled by 3 brilliant centre-halves who have come away with 2 clean sheets. Also shout out to Geordie for that as well. He was solid today, didn't have much to do, to be honest. He has a pretty blunt Barnet attack. I just can't believe how comfortable we made it look. I mean, obviously, had we come away with a 0-0, which it was looking likely for some spells of that game, we just thought we've maybe missed our last chance. But my God, when it came off, I mean, I didn't see it, to be honest. Got a pillar in my way on the East Bank, but I've been told it came off the back or the bum of Kwame Thomas. And what a time. He always just pops up with those important goals. I'm just, always so happy for him. He grinds, he works as hard as anyone when he comes on. He gets his sparing little cameos for this team, and absolutely unreal. What a win. And also in terms of the league position, I just can't fathom how different it looks from last week, because after that 5-0 we were outside the playoffs. I mean, am I right in thinking we were 10th or 9th? Altrincham at home did feel big. Playing 4th at home, and we've comfortably beaten them with 2 goals at the end of the first half, and then to come to 3rd in the league, who had beaten us earlier in the season. It's unbelievable how we've turned it around. And I know this team approaches every game exactly the same, and Tommy says as much in his pre-match things, but it's a joy to watch. And just from minute 1 today, they were all on it. Josh Stokes, Tolaj, Daly from the front. All 3 of them were hassling and harrying their defence. And obviously Tolaj put in another 10 out of 10 performance. Stokes, a solid 8. Daly just basically looked like he'd just been watching videos of Jack Barham. And that really set the tone, that first 10 minutes. And I mean, we can beat the best. That's basically what we've proven this season. We can beat those teams in the top half and those around us. Obviously, we'll find out in 2 weeks' time how we get on against Oldham at home, which is going to be a huge game. But in between that, we've got Southend on Saturday, and to be honest, I'm relishing it. I can't remember the last time I've looked forward to going to Southend. I've always expected a defeat, and this is the first time we're going there, and I think we're favourites. Wow, what a moment that is! Turning up at Roots Hall as favourites to win a football match. And then obviously after the Southend game, we've got a midweek where we're not playing, and I think there's 6 or 7 games. So the league table is going to look mighty different come Oxford City away on the 2nd of March. Whew, it's all coming so quick. But the fact we've played 34 is let's see how that gets on. And I'm just going to try and get home before midnight tonight.